All right, hi grade 9. You have now completed chapter 6 and we are headed into chapter 7. You still have an assignment that is due for me next week. I don't have there's my book. For you guys, it is due April the 1st. Sorry, that is on chapters 5 and 6. So please be working on that. Sorry, grabbing my tea. Did you miss me drinking tea while I taught you? So we're going to look at the beginning of chapter 7. Chapter 7 is all about area, surface area, volume. You've done some of this before. Shouldn't really be a problem, especially these first couple of sections. Normally I would tell you, you have to know these formulas. On a test, I'm not giving you the formulas. I think when we do a test for this one, we're gonna have to do it live, so maybe through Zoom or something. We'll do it so that I can see that you're not sitting there with your formulas. I think that because you really do need to know these formulas. If we make it back to school in time for exams, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just trying to think of everything I need to think of. Never done this before, so we don't really know what's coming. But if we're back to school in time for exams, you're not going to have the formulas on the exams. So better to be learning them now, all right? So I think probably when we do a test on this, we will try and do it through Zoom so that I can be watching you do the test. The only problem with that is that I believe the free version of Zoom only gives us 40 minutes. So I'll either have to make the test shorter. I know that would just hurt your feelings really badly. We'll either have to make the test shorter or we'll have to do it in 2 parts or something. All right, so we'll have to figure that out when we get there, but we have some time because we're just starting chapter 7. But just so you know where my brain is, and kind of what I'm thinking, that's what I'm thinking. If you guys have a different suggestion, if there's something that you think, oh, I think this would work better, please let me know. I am certainly open to ideas. So we're gonna start section 7.1. It's an easy section because all it's talking about is area of a flat surface. It's not talking about surface area. Surface area is when we have a 3D object, but we're just talking about area. Now it's not going to be as easy as you want it to be because you are in grade 9. We do have to up the level of difficulty just a little bit, but it's still not going to be that bad. This won't take us long. It'll be very quick, and then I'll post some questions for you to try. Just a second. Nope, still too hot. All right. So here's what we're going to do. So in section 7.1, they talk about the area of a rectangle and the area of a circle. You probably, hopefully, please, already know the formulas for this. This should not be news. One thing I do suggest, I suggest this to my physics kids, most of them do it. I always suggest this for this chapter in grade 9. Some people do it, some people don't, but I highly recommend it. It will make studying faster and easier. I'm not trying to make more work, I'm trying to make less work for you. I would suggest that as we go through this chapter, you have a sheet that you just put the word formulas at the top. And every time we learn a formula, you write it down. That way, when it comes time to study, you just have this one sheet that you have to know, all right? So, area of a rectangle. If we were in school, I would be asking you to tell me because you should know. Area of a rectangle is length times width. If you were not screaming that at the screen, you should be. Area of a circle. You should know what that is too. If you don't know what it is, you should, because I know you've done it before in previous grades, probably starting at about grade 5. So you really should know what it is. If you forget, it is pi times your radius squared. R stands for radius. You don't have to know what pi is, because you will have a pi button somewhere on your calculator. For me, it is from my second function, from my yellow button, it is 1, 2, 3 buttons down. If I hit, well, first if I turn my calculator on, if I hit my pi button and I hit equals, it just comes up 3.14. So I can just hit my pi button. Most, if not all of you, should have a pi button somewhere on your calculator. If you can't find it, ask somebody who has the same calculator you do, or post a picture of it in Google Hangouts. I'll find it on there for you and tell you where it is if you can't find it. But your pi button comes in very handy, because if you do your calculations with 3.14, you've actually rounded pi off and your answer won't be as accurate. If you just hit your pi button on your calculator, it uses the 3.14, whatever. It uses the whole number, and so therefore your answers are more accurate. So if you have a pi button, use it, all right? So this is really quick. There are 2 examples, and that's it. So the first one talks about a Canadian flag. We have a Canadian flag here. So this is red, this is red, this is white with a maple leaf, which I can't draw. There's my maple leaf, isn't that good? And it says the Canadian flag has 2 red rectangles and there's a square in the middle. And it says that the full length of this flag from one end to the other is 3 meters, and the full height of it is 1.5 meters. Now, they don't ask what is the area of the flag. You're not in grade 5. What they want to know is calculate the area of 1 red rectangle. There's different ways you can go about doing this, but again, you do need to show your work. So the area of a rectangle is length times width. So area is length times width. And if we consider this width, I already know that my width is 1.5. What I don't know is what this is, okay? But I do know that the 2 rectangles are equal. They're the same size. This rectangle is not smaller than this one. That would look funny. And I know that this is a square. If this is a square and I know that this is 1.5, then I know that this is 1.5. So if the whole thing is 3 and that is 1.5, if I take this out, so 3 minus the 1.5, I have 1.5. So this length plus this length has to be 1.5. And again, they're the same. So if I just divide it by 2, I get that this is 0.75 and this is 0.75. So that if I add it up, 0.75 plus 0.75 plus 1.5 should give me a total of 3. So now I know what the length of this rectangle is. It's 0.75. And so to figure out the area, now again, units, this is 0.75 meters times 1.5 meters. When I do that, it works out to be 1.125, and meters times meters is going to give me meters squared. I have 2 meters, so that's meters squared. That is not the only way to do it, and in fact, that is not the way they do it in the textbook. If you want to look at how they do the example in the textbook, they actually figure out the area of this white square, and then they figure out the area of the whole triangle, and then they subtract the white square from the whole, did I say triangle? Rectangle, from the whole rectangle, and then they take that answer and divide it by 2. Seems like a whole lot more work to me. But again, as long as you're showing your work, see how I showed everything I did. You need to be showing what you're doing. To me, this way was easier. They did it in what I think is a much more difficult manner. All right, example 2, and I'm done the lesson for today. That's how quick it is. Example 2 says you have a hockey rink. And it says that the length is 60 meters. The width is 28. And on this hockey thing, there are 6 circles. Nope, 5 circles. I lied. There are 5 circles. All the circles are the same size. I don't know if that's true in real life. If you play hockey, you probably know. I don't know because I don't play hockey. Now, it says each of the circles has a radius of 4.5 meters. So this has a radius of 4.5, this has a radius of 4.5. All 5 of them have a radius of 4.5 meters. It says, calculate the area of the ice that lies outside of the circles. So basically, if those circles weren't there, what would be the area? So if I'm doing this, I'm first going to find the area of the whole thing. So area of a rectangle is length times width. So that would be 60 times 28. And if I do 60 times 28, that works out to be 1,680 square meters. So the whole rink with the ice, all the circles, and everything is 1,680. Now what I want to do is I want to remove those circles. So I need to know what is the area of the circles. Well, for one circle, it is pi times r squared. But there's not just one circle, there's 5 of them. So I'm going to multiply whatever I get by 5. So my r is 4.5 squared. Order of operations is very, very, very important in this. You can't do 5 times pi times 4.5 squared, because what your calculator will do is it will do exactly what you told it. It will multiply this, this, and this. It will take that big giant answer and it will square it. You don't want it to do that. So I do 4.5 squared first, and then I multiply it by pi and I multiply it by 5, or I use my brackets on my calculator and I actually do 5 times pi. I put a bracket, I put 4.5, I close my bracket, and I put an exponent of 2. I put exactly what I've written here in my calculator. How you do it is up to you and depends upon your calculator. But if I do it, I'm going to get that the area is 318.086, and it kept on going. All right, so that is the area for the circles. And this is the area for the whole rectangle. So if I want to know the area without the circles, I'm just going to take my total area of 1,680 and I'm going to take out the circles, 318.086. And so 1,680 minus my answer. And so I get 1,362 square meters when I round it off to the nearest meter. That's it. That's all we're doing today. I'll have a few questions for you to try, and that's it. So hopefully an easy day for you, and this should be Friday, so nice. You won't have to do anything on the weekend, except if you haven't got your assignment for chapters 5 and 6 done, remember it's due April 1st. For those of you who leave things till the last minute, that hasn't worked out so well for you in the past. Don't leave it till the last minute. All right, that's my advice for the day. All right, so we'll see you again beginning of next week. Talk to you soon.